Welcome to the Booktrovert Babes podcast, where two friends decided to bring our dramatic conversations about books here for your entertainment. I'm Rubik's mom of 5 and a baby reader just entering my book era.
I'm Taylor, mom of 2 and a well-seasoned book veteran. On today's podcast, we're going to be talking about organizing the bookshelf for those of us that have a bookshelf.
Ew.
One of us has shelf control and one of us doesn't.
All I heard was I have shelf control.
Yeah, you do. You and your one book that you now currently own.
Listen, there's a lot in that book, okay?
I know. Honestly, you could just get a little shelf for that one book to just like display when you're done.
Just a little wall shelf. It looks like a little pedestal.
Yeah, like one of those hanging shelves. You could just put it on one of those as a pedestal.
Okay, so
more of like a trophy of you survived reading that book.
Yeah. How many bookshelves, technically, do you have in your room?
In my room, I have 2 set up. I would like to say, I'm going to blame my parents. My mom, my dad, my stepmom, my stepdad, all of them, it's their fault. Because in my dad's home, they have 4 bookshelves. Like my size, full. However, they could use 2 more because theirs are the ones that are like so stuffed. There's no organized, like filled to the top. There's books behind, like they're stuffed. My mom has a ton of bookshelves. Like her TV entertainment center that my stepdad had built, they had so many like records and books. So they have a ton. So it's their fault. I grew up with people who also had a ton of books. My mom has recently become a book collector again. She just had a huge Amazon order of more books. So really, I'm just going to blame my bookshelves and my book purchasing obsession on them.
Okay.
But yes, I have one giant IKEA bookshelf that is behind me when we do our recordings. And then I have an Amazon, like a smaller black bookshelf that's on the other side of my room that you won't see when we do recordings.
Okay. And I know you have a system.
I do.
I could not even fathom it. So explain yourself.
So here's the thing. I am one of those people too. I get bored. Like I change my room around a lot. I change my organization system in like my dresser a lot. I change my books a lot because I kind of get bored of how they look. But also like when the
feng
season
shui
changes,
with books.
A little bit. It like I don't know what it is, but every like season, I'll say I change the order. I mean, I'll send you a photo when I'm done with it, and I've done that 3 or 4 times this year. You helped me on my last one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what it is. I hate when it's stagnant. It stays the same too long. I need to change it.
Yeah.
However, the way I organize stays the same. I just like to switch it up a little bit. So I'll start with the bookshelf that's behind me. There's only one shelf on this one that never ever changes. You can't see it ever. It's the top shelf. So that is where all of my Elle Kennedy and Anna Huang and Hannah Bonham Young are. So those are like my staple fluffy romance girlies. Elle Kennedy has a ton of books. She has, up there alone, I have the entire Off-Campus series, the entire Briar U series, and what's out so far of the new series. There's one more book coming. That's 13 books in total. Anna Huang, I have 7 of her what will be like 14 books. So partially it's because they're staples to me. I'll read everything that they do. I'll buy everything that they do. But also they need a whole shelf because they have so many books between them. And then Hannah Bonham, she wrote the, not Hannah Bonham Young. Yes. Hannah Bonham Young and Hannah Grace, actually. I have both. Hannah Bonham Young wrote Out on a Limb because I needed one book to fill the shelf, so that will probably move. But Hannah Young wrote the Maple Hill series with the Icebreaker and all that. But those are like my God tier, as it's called. Those are like my top romances. Also, those authors will have a lot of books, so they just fit one whole shelf together.
So those are the ones that are separated.
Yeah, they will always be
from the
together.
Rest of your system.
Yeah, those are the ones. It's up there. It's never moving. They are like, if they release a random book that has nothing to do with their genre, it's still going there. So for me, I keep authors together, and then authors with a similar vibe stay together. So I don't alphabetize them. Like technically Anna Huang should go before Elle Kennedy, but it goes Elle Kennedy, Hannah Huang, and then the Hannahs are all together.
You do that.
The Hannahs are together. But it's just like, to me, those are the authors that really drove me into being the reader I am now. Like I've always been a reader, but being to this like extent of a reader where I'm cuckoo crazy with how many I read and how many I purchase, they're just my staple authors. So they're all together. That shelf is the only one of my like like 8 shelves between the 2 bookshelves that it'll never move. It doesn't change. It doesn't move where it is on the bookshelf.
Right.
The next shelf is more romances. So that's where my Chloe Walsh is with the Boys of Toman. And then it kind of just goes into like a vibe from like tallest book to shortest book. And it stays within like the fluffy, cutesy romances. Like there's nothing toxic up there. Funny enough, this worked out in a funny way. I am not a rainbow organizer
allowed on that shelf.
No, like Archer's voice isn't even up there. And you know I'm going to stick to it being fluffy, but and not even on my shelf. Can I lie to myself? It's not even in that row. But funny enough, I'm not a rainbow organizer because you know that drives me nuts. But all those books are like peaches and pinks and cream colors, except for the Boys of Toman. That one is like berry colors.
So it kind of worked out that it's in color.
It kind of worked out that one is just like my peaches and creams and pinks and or like
peaches and cream.
Yeah, I realized after I said it that I said it that way. But you know what? I'll stick with it. But yeah, so that's all like my pinksies, fluffy romances. Because I mean, all the fluffies are kind of pink anyway. And then the shelf that everyone can see when we stream on Twitch is this one bookshelf with all the black ones, except for these guys. It is guys
all
right
black,
here.
Except for those 3 in the middle.
Yeah, so this is the Ruinous Love trilogy. Obviously, the 3rd one's not out, but that's like an orangey yellow color, so it's going to stand out. That's Brutal Obsession.
Oh, okay.
That's my TBR jar. That's why it sticks out so much. But this is the dark romance shelf, which shockingly, all the books have black spines.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. So the organization to this one, I don't like having, as you can see, I don't like having all my books straight, like facing. I like to rotate some of them so they're flat and then they stack upwards. So I have the Mindfuck series and Den of Vipers together because they look almost identical with how thick they are, and there's nothing like pretty to them. Like they're just a black with the title. Obviously the Mindfuck series has the apple on it, but otherwise it's a very plain. They're also the tallest, so that's where they go. Then I went with the Never After series next because I just thought artistically I liked how they looked, but they're the same height as when all my Rena Kent books are on their side. So it just works that way. But I like the from tall to small. So it just worked that when all the Rena Kents are together, it's the same height as the Never After. So clearly they had to go next to each other. And then that's why these 3 are together after it, is because it just coordinates where the colorful ones are together after all the black spines. And then after I do have the Souls trilogy on its side, and that's where all my little decor pieces are right now for, everything on that is Nightmare Before Christmas themed. You know what? I have a theme. It's fine. And then the next shelf is all my fantasy. That one is pretty much just like Sarah J. Maas, random fantasy, Rebecca Yarros fantasy. There was really no rhyme or rhythm to the fantasy one because I don't have that many.
Yeah.
But I did like Sarah J. Maas is here, Rebecca Yarros is here, everybody else is in the middle. Mostly because all my Rebecca Yarros are hardcover and all my Sarah J. Maas are paperback. So I just kind of separate them that way. And all my Rebecca Yarros, just because how it worked out, are first edition, so they're special. They have the sprayed edges, and it's easier to display them over here. And then currently, this was a recent shelf creation. The next shelf is all my, I'll say LGBTQs, mostly MM, but there are some poly romances in there. But the next shelf is all my romances that have an LGBTQ couple. And then the next shelf is all my romances that have some trauma mixed in with them, you might say.
That's where Archer's voice is, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. You can't lie to yourself on your shelf, can you?
No. And then
you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to your shelf.
Can we get that as a sticker? Can you
yes,
make me that?
I'll make you a sticker like that.
I'm gonna just put it like right there. You can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to the shelf. No one steal that. That's our phrase.
You can put it as like a tiny little frame on top of your books, like a little knickknack.
I honestly, when we're done with like the Halloween and winter season, when I take this Jack Skellington ceramic out, I'll frame that little phrase and I'll put it right there. So it's literally over my shoulder every time we do this.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Just a little reminder.
The bottom one is more romance, but I might cry, or I have cried. So that one is a lot more. If you look at my shelves, I've read every single book that you can see behind me except for Crossed. I haven't finished yet. And then the Throne of Glass series. Other than that, like almost every book that you can see, I have read. The bottom shelf, though, is where I know based on who the author is, like Mia Sheridan, like I know that woman's going to hurt my feelings. So the bottom one is more of my TBR. The black bookshelf is all of the books I read when I was younger. So like the Harry Potter series is on top. And then the Candles, the Blue is for Nightmares series, and some other like fantasy things I read when I was younger are over on that shelf. Because they're not necessarily cute anymore because I've owned them for a while, couple years. I've owned those books now, so they're all over there.
We're nice to your books.
Not even that. They've aged. Like the pages are starting to like not be the crisp white color anymore. I've moved a couple of times, so they were in storage boxes. So like those are my well-loved, well-used, I've had them for over a decade books. And then there's some more like the Lore Olympus series, which is a graphic novel series, is over there. And then eventually one day I'll get to it, Thriller are over there. It's kind of like the corner of books. I still love them. I still value them. They're just not like eye candy for me right now. So
they're the forgotten children.
I know. They're the land of misfit toys.
Oh no.
I still love them and value them. I mean, I have more books. I've told you, I have more books in my storage unit from when I moved last time. So there's like 100+ books in my storage unit that aren't even on a shelf. So they're still loved. They made it out of a storage unit and onto a shelf. They're just not my eye candy. This is my eye candy shelf. This is the one that I'm like, it needs to be beautiful. It needs decor. It needs a rhyme and a rhythm.
See, and what's funny about that is your rhyme and a rhythm makes no sense to me. Let me take that back. It makes sense to me when you explain it, but I could never, because I can't do any of that. I don't currently have really any physical books or bookshelf, but I have had bookshelves, and my kids have books and their bookshelves. I cannot, I have to have things in alphabetical order. I cannot do different directions like you do. I can't group them by feel or anything like that. I'm like, they have to be in alphabetical order. The only time I'll go beyond that is if I'm putting a series together. And even then, it breaks my brain because the titles in the series are not in alphabetical order. So I'll put them in number order, but it'll still bother me, you know?
So does the Never After series bother you?
Absolutely.
That the last two books are crossed and hexed, which should technically be 1 and 2 alphabetically, but they're actually 5 and 6 in the series.
Because, see, and if I was in your room, I would be moving them around because those aren't in a number order. Like,
That's
I know you have them in order of how they came out.
Yes.
But my brain says they're not, they're interconnected standalones, right? So you don't have to read them in
They're not even
order.
Interconnected. They're
not
just
even
standalones.
Yeah.
When you think about it, there's no character that crosses over. So really, it's just...
So they're not even interconnected standalones. They're just
really
standalones.
Just is their dark romance fairy tale retellings. There's nothing
so it's just a theme
other than the author.
So even more reason, I would have those in order: crossed, hexed, hooked, and go in alphabetical order within that series.
Yeah, Scarred, Twisted, Wretched.
Yeah, okay. I would be moving your books around because it doesn't make sense
away with
that they're
it in that
order.
Series.
Yes, in that series. Now, the other books, let me tell you, because, okay, it's not like I've never related to movies when I don't have enough books. I used to have over 800 DVDs, okay?
Oh my God,
and I had them on my beautiful shelves. I loved my DVD shelves so much. It hurt so much to get rid of them. But the only series in all of mine that I was ever happy with was the Born Identity series. Okay? Because in number order, they are also alphabetical. Born Identity, Born Supremacy, Born Ultimatum.
That's funny.
So they were in number order and alphabetical order, and it made sense to keep them together. Other than that, my brain would break. I'm like, I don't know how to put these in order. I guess they should be in order from the way you watch them. But then the Star Wars movies would trip me out every time. I have a hard time with it, but I can't do it like you do it with genre and whatever. I have to have alphabetical order.
You want to know what that reminds me of?
What?
So you would have loved growing up in my household, at my mom's house. When I was younger, when my mom married my stepfather, they combined all their stuff. He was like a tech guy. He had all these things. We had a lot of movies. She had 4 kids. Between the two of them, they both love movies and TV shows. My stepdad had created a PDF file of every single movie and TV show, random documentaries, concerts, everything. He made a list, alphabetical order, and it was like a spreadsheet. It was the titles of the movies or shows in alphabetical order, how long it was, I think was on there, the genre it was, and it was printed off, and it was hanging in the closet where the main... So the house that we had been in at that time had like beautiful, like almost like my closet where it was sliding doors, and it was just organized that way as well. So I
had a directory.
Yeah, there was so many movies in that household.
So freaking much.
Printed something off. And I remember I would like flip through it to be like, what do I want to watch? And I felt like so cool because we had this printed off sheet.
Almost like a karaoke book when you're looking at what song you want to sing.
He did. Because when he originally printed off, he had just stapled all the pages together. But then it became a point where there were so many. He put them in those like laminated protection sheets. And then they were together like that. So I feel
love that.
But like printed off to the point
I love that. I love your stepdad.
Yeah, he was so organized because we had so many. Obviously, as like time went on and like everything was downloaded and streaming services, like it kind of came moot point to have it. But I do remember feeling so fancy because we had a spreadsheet of all of our movies, but it was in alphabetical order.
I used to have an app. I used to have an app like that where I could scan the barcodes and it would have the cover of the movie. It would have all the details of the movie. And then I could flip through them. Like I could look them up by genre. It would show me all my movies. And then I could put in there the location. So if it was on shelf 1, shelf 2, whatever, and I could find them easier. I had an app that did that. And I was neurotic. I still remember sitting on the floor with all my stacks of movies around and doing that.
You know, there's an app for books to do that.
Is there really? I'm not surprised.
Have you seen it? The library scanner? You can buy a scanner and then there's an app and I can scan all my books. And then if someone wants to borrow one, I scan it like a legit librarian to check it out. And it tells me the date and who borrowed it.
I could do that on my movie app too.
You know how badly I want to do that?
Oh, yeah.
For any of you family listening, if you don't know what to get me for Christmas, if you want to get me a library scanner, I wouldn't be upset. Do you know how much fun I would have playing librarian? Like, obviously, I'm going to school to be a librarian, but if I could play librarian at home.
Heck yeah. Get little library cards so that you can keep track of who's borrowed everything.
Yeah, even though the only people who borrow books from me is my mother and my sister. But, you know, just keep track.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can play librarian anyway.
The level that could turn into blackmail. Listen, sister, I know which books, like I have a list of how many times you've borrowed my dark books.
I just like, do you know how organized could be? Because then the app like organizes it too. I don't know if I would do it that way because I like the way I do it. It makes sense to my brain. Yours is very like, I can't even think of the word. Like yours is very...
It's cut and dry.
It's very black and white. Yeah, yours is black and white. Mine's gray.
Shocking.
I know.
Would you say it's morally gray?
I mean, this shelf, there is no morals whatsoever. It's fine.
That shelf is all red flags to me.
Well, no. As much as I want to say the Mindfuck series, there's no red flags because I root for them, technically.
She's a serial killer.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big red. That's a red neon sign.
I know, but I just like...
It's not even a flag.
But I'm so Team Lana. I don't care. But
I'm Team Lana too, don't get me wrong. But it's a red flag.
Yeah. But I also, like, so part of the reason too I change it up is like if I get a special edition in, I want to have it featured, or I like to have books that like face the front so you can see the cover for what it is. So I change it up a lot. Like I'm honestly, with all the special editions that come out in between now and December, I might be doing a really big rotation come my birthday once all the stuff is in, because I would reset it now with the new editions I just got a little bit ago, but I have a couple more coming in December that I know about, and then like Onyx Storm's coming in January, so I think I'll wait till January for my next reset.
Do you have to change like everything every time you get a new book?
So So I feel like I'm outing myself right now. When I reset my book, I have a list written down. You know, I do this on my whiteboard. I write the title of a book I know is coming in and the date I know when it's coming in. I already have it cataloged in my brain of what its home is on my shelf and with its spot already selected. So I already put
What
these
if you don't
shelves
have
together.
room for it?
I made it. I put these together knowing it was coming home. So like when my sister borrowed the ACOTAR series, I left room knowing I would get the first 3 back when I gave her the last 2, knowing when I get the last 2 back, their home is still here and ready to go for when they're home, depending how long it takes her. I love her so much. So sorry, Haley. Read a little faster. But like there's already space ready for when Onyx Storm comes in. My bottom shelf that's full of my romances that will make me cry is ready because I have a special edition of If He Had Been With Me coming. I already have its spot ready to go because it's going to get featured because of the special edition of it. I had Hex spots ready to go for when it came in. Like I already know. I preset these when I already know.
You have a whole plan.
Yeah. The only issue is there's so many special edition hardbacks that I know are coming next month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I want to display all of them, but I don't have the room to display all of them. So there is that part of me that's like, do I get another bookshelf, like simply to display all my new fancy books that I got? Because
that's
I have
where
so
you
many
need to get a wall
pre-orders.
shelf for just display ones.
Okay, so here's the thing for me. I don't know what it is in my 3-year-old's brain. I know. As soon as I heard it, I was like, I don't know what it is in my 3-year-old's brain. Maybe it's because it's just how he's always been raised of like, do not touch the bookshelf. He won't touch this. Like, you see how low this is. He could easily grab my candle, the Jack Skellington thing. He will not touch this bookshelf. However, my wall art, my posters, their school photos, my Hogwarts thing, he smacks them or like whacks them around. Like he tries to hit things that are on the wall. So I'm nervous if it's not on a bookshelf, he will try to fuck with it.
Okay, but what if you have a book on the shelf? Then it becomes a bookshelf. So
I don't know.
Would that keep him from touching anything on that shelf because it's got a book on it?
I don't know. I'm nervous though, because if it's a hanging one, I don't know. I always get nervous that if it's a hanging one, it's going to collapse.
It's like if it has a book on it, is it disqualified from being able to be touched?
Can we just think about that though? I've trained my 3-year-old so well that he knows, like, don't even eyeball them. Don't even breathe near them.
Don't even look at the book.
Yeah, don't look, don't touch, don't even perceive that they're there.
Do they have a bookshelf?
Yes, the boys have, it's the same size as my black one in their room.
Uh-huh. Do they organize it?
No, I organize it, they don't.
Do they keep it organized the way you organize it?
No. They don't care. When they take it off, they would just put it back and not even like put it back, and they would just chuck it on and hope it landed. No, I'm the reason that bookshelf stays somewhat organized.
I need to go look at the girls' bookshelves because I don't think they organize them in a particular way.
So for the boys, my oldest is on top. His is the top shelf. My youngest is the bottom shelf, just so it's more accessible for them to reach. My youngest is harder to organize because he's 3. So it's just like some Dr. Seuss here, some Berenstain Bears there. Like there's really no true organization. I just kind of keep the like Pete the Cats together, Dr. Seuss's together. So that's really it for his. My oldest, he really only has one theme of books, and it's dinosaurs. So all the dinosaur books are together just from height order. And then the Paw Patrol books are all together. And then it's just kind of miscellaneous at the end because there's no rhyme or rhythm to the rest of his books. But 80% of his books are dinosaur and Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
So
I used to have, when I had for the movies and for the books, I used to have it set up so that whatever was for the smaller ones, because I have, my ages of my kids are so spread out. So like the books, like board books, like the cardboard books and stuff, were always on the bottom for the lowest.
That's why my youngest
kids.
Yeah.
And they could pull those out because they were more easily accessible. And then like the bigger books, the nicer books were higher up on the shelf.
Yep.
But even then it was mostly alphabetical order. And I used to go in there, and I've always been criticized because like, those are the kids' books. Like, you know, they're not going to stay there. You know, they're not going to stay there. I'm like, but it makes me feel better. I sleep better at night.
When it comes to their bookshelf, I had to let it go So I try only to go reset it at least once a week, because otherwise I'm doing it every single day, because we read every day. Every night it's a different book. Sometimes it's the same one. So I had to learn to let it go. So that's why I control their closet so much. That's rainbow inside the way I want it, and the way like their stuffed animals are organized. So like I control other aspects of their room. I had to learn to let the bookshelf go, because I'm also trying to teach my oldest to take care of his books and put them back the right way.
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, like, your right way and my right way for bookshelves is not the same. So I can't...
Not at all.
I have to try and let him decide what the right way is for him. He does like the size order because he knows his favorite book is the tallest, so he knows it's all the way to the left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just... It helps him in that sense. Like, he really functions well with the rainbow order of the book, which I think is my fault because I rainbow order his clothes.
That's fair.
So
That is a fair correlation to make.
I think that's my fault, but it works because for him, like, his favorite shirt is red, so he goes to the red section, so it works for him. And it's like the same with his books, so I might have screwed myself because you know
what is it that you don't like about the rainbow order?
Okay, so when I see them aesthetically, yes, beautiful, gorgeous. I do think aesthetically it looks really nice. However, we'll take the Knock 'Em Out series. Book 1 is blue. So let's go to the blue section for that. Like, I guess in theory, if you know the color of all of your books, it's not as big of an issue, I guess, to the people who do the rainbow order thing. But book 1 of Knock 'Em Out is blue. Book 2 is pink. Book 3 is purple. So you have to separate that series if you want your rainbow order. And that drives me nuts. It's not even like, if standalones aren't with, if an author's not all together, I could maybe let it go. Honestly, that part doesn't bother me. I personally like to keep the author together, but if you separated them for the rainbow order, that part I could let go. Breaking up a series for the rainbow order, no, that would drive me so insane. Like, it works out in this sense where all like my dark romances are black, so those series can stay together. Where's Akatar going? All over the place.
All the books are different colors, yeah.
All of them are a different color.
Yeah.
So, like, no.
And then you're just going to have a huge chunk of black.
Yeah. Black and blue. Black is my biggest one. The
black and blue. That's...
I'm a bruise.
That
great.
Awful.
And the pink.
Your bookshelf's got a big old bruise down there. It's fine.
Well, really, if you look at it, this row's all black. The fantasies, multiple colors. The bottom row and the LGBT row are mainly blue. And then, like, the cute romance is pink. But then the Elle Kennedy and Anna Huang and Hannah's, that's also like multiple colors, but they're kind of like pastellies and matte colors. So I do somewhat have like a color thing going on from my spines, but not the rainbow trend, because I cannot separate series. That would drive me up a wall.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that either.
I could let the author go. Maybe I would still be a little upset about it.
LGBTQ series, or not series, but that shelf. Are there lots of series in that shelf, or are they more standalones?
Interconnected standalones. The only series is the Losers Duet, and I wouldn't even call it a series. It's 2 books in their novella, so it's a duet.
Because I could see putting those in rainbow order. That would be fun for me.
So that shelf has about 12 books. 10 of them are blue. No, 9 of them are blue. Technically, I have another one. It's just not on the shelf because I'm currently reading it.
Out of how many?
I think there's like 12 or 13 books down here. There's like 12 or 13 books down there.
Most of them are blue.
Yeah, so almost all of them are blue. There's a pink one because I have 2 editions of the red, white, and royal blue. I have the paperback, which is pink, and I have the special edition hardcover that's blue. That same author has another book, but it's a teal color. So the blue family, I would say, like, they're not all like your stereotypical just blue. I have dark blues, light blues, teals, so they're within that like realm of blue.
Yeah.
The Losers Duet is black. Its novella is like a blacky purple. And then the book I'm not going to be currently reading with. Okay. The book that I was reading, The Nightmare Before Christmas, is also black. So I have 1 pink book. The Loser's Duet is black. And then The Nightmare Before Christmas is black. Every other book on that shelf is blue.
Yeah, that wouldn't work then. I think it would be really fun to have the LGBTQ shelf in rainbow order. That would be a fun representation, like, honestly, almost like a trophy.
Colors. Yeah. If that shelf had more colors, I absolutely would. I love that idea. But majority of them are blue.
See, and if I did that though, here's where I would get into big trouble having a shelf in general and then having them in rainbow order, I would be buying books that I don't necessarily want, but I would, because like, oh my gosh, I need more red so that it's even. So I need to go buy another red book. I would be buying more books for that reason. And I think I'd get myself into a lot of trouble for that.
Oh, 100%. That is part of the issue too. When I see the rainbow trend, I'm like,
how do you know, like, how do you not get more books just to fill in the color order?
I also just feel like some colors might be tricky. Like, I can't think of many yellow books or many orange books or green.
Which is a crime. Authors, make more yellow covers, please.
I know. Rubik's favorite color is yellow. We need more yellow for her.
I would have all the yellow
for her
books.
To not buy them.
I would have... Listen, I would buy yellow books. I would.
If it was something you wanted to read, though.
I think I would just buy yellow books.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it would even need to be stuff. I would read them because they're yellow.
I can't get you to buy the special edition of Hooked, but if it were yellow, she'd buy it.
But the reason why is because if I have one, I need to have them all. And they don't all have special edition covers yet. Now, when they all have special edition covers, then I'm probably going to buy them all.
It's a limited time. By the time they release Scarred special edition,
I'll find them
available. What, on eBay for $600? Don't you dare do that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm so stingy with money on stuff like that. I could never.
No. Get it. Like, when I pre-ordered it, I think it's a $35 pre-order. The thing with Amazon pre-orders is as the time goes, anytime there's a special on it, you automatically get that special. So by the time that book ships out to me, I only am paying $18 on it because of how many random specials that have happened on that book. But if you were to pre-order right now, you would have to pay $35.
Yeah.
So if you had listened to me when I said to pre-order it, would only be $18.
Listen, I don't have shelf trophies, okay? And I know that once I go down that road, it's going to be a long one, okay?
Yeah.
I have shelf control. Except for this one book.
Well, I will let the one you bought go because of it's a necessity. You can't not have that book physically.
You can't.
Kindle book that one.
No, House of Leaves, you definitely have to have the physical book to be able to read it because of how complex navigating it is. You have to have the physical book, which is why I bought it. But that's what I'm talking about. That was a good indicator for me that I can't go down this shelf trophy and buying books road because I would not have shelf control once I start that. Because as soon as I realized I have to have this book, that was all the justification I needed. I ordered it at 1:30 in the morning and it arrived before 8 a.m. the next morning. Like, it was immediate. Okay, can you imagine if I started saying I have to buy this book for any other books?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I'd be in so much trouble.
Don't own any ACOTAR, any of the Black Witch, or any of the Empyreans. Like, those three fantasies that I know you love, the fact that you don't own one of any of those, you really do have shelf control, and kudos,
I really do.
Not me.
I do want to get them, but I'm trying to hold myself back by saying it's got to be a shelf, a pretty book. It's got to be a pretty special edition cover or something like that for me to get them.
All three of those series aren't done either. Because what if you end the series and you actually hate it, and then you're going to regret it? But this is the other thing. Don't even
say that to me. That's going to give me nightmares.
I'm so sorry. This is the other thing that sometimes makes me nervous, and I've been burned already. When a book series is coming out and they're doing it, when they change their publisher or they change the style of the book halfway through the series.
Oh no, see, that would mess me up.
If you recall,
Boys of Tommen.
This happened to me more than once. Boys of Tommen did it, so I have the first 4 of the indie published. She's not doing that anymore, so I had to get the Bloom editions. The other series was one that I love. The first 3 she indie published. She just released the 4th one, so I get it. The 4th one is shorter. The font is different, so I'm like, I don't want to buy the first 3 to match the 4th one.
Did they come out different sizes too, or are they? Oh, they're different sizes too.
It's like a solid half an inch shorter than the first 3 books.
No.
Yeah,
that drives me crazy too.
I'll send it to you, but the spine is different. the font is slightly different. Like, even like where the title of the book and the author switched, it's shorter than like, it'll forever be like the thing I can't stand. And it's also partially why I am a little gun shy to buy series now, because it's happened to me more than once where I buy the series to read it, and then halfway through they change stuff and now they don't match anymore. And so that drives me nuts. Like, that's why it's okay that I got the Rena Kent series, because this is done. The Never After was done. She was done. She was not going to release Hex because of her diagnosis. She had thought she was done writing. She beat it. So she came back and did Hex. But like, I'm nervous to buy anything from a series that isn't done, because what if I get burned a third time?
Yeah, no kidding. I remember when I was organizing my movie shelves, I was so neurotic about the sizes. Thank God DVD cases are all in the same, height. But what was crazy for me is I can't do the multiple directions. I have to have them. Yeah, no, I can't do that. That bothers me so much. So I have to
don't perceive my shelf.
It bothers me so much.
Like dimension, and I can put my little decory things. Does it bother you?
With stuff like that, when I'm organizing stuff, like, I don't want to mention. I want the logic. Okay, so but DVD
for
shelves,
anyone who can't see us, my arms are like covering the shelf so she can see it. Don't hate my shelf.
I mean, I love your shelf. It's good that you live in New Hampshire. Okay. It's good that I can't get to you, because I would come over and just start moving things around.
Not like you've ever bullied me for my shelf.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. But when I was with my DVD shelves, what drove me crazy is the shelf I had bought was perfect. It was the right depth for DVDs specifically. But the height drove me crazy, because the middle shelves, they were cheap shelves, okay?
Yeah.
But the middle ones, I could not move that shelf, right? Oh. So I had to move the other shelves so that the DVDs all fit standing upright across the shelves. So I ended up having to I couldn't even, the adjustable shelves with the little notches, okay?
Yeah.
There was a point where I finally got it done where I was happy with it. I had no little things in the notches. My shelf was just sitting on top of the DVDs so that there was no space between the shelf itself and the DVDs below it, because if I had put the notches in, there wouldn't be room for all of the DVDs to stand upright. And even then, the top shelf, it was smaller. It wouldn't fit. So I justified that by putting my Blu-rays, Blu-rays. Yes. I put Blu-rays.
Because those are slightly smaller, right?
Yes, but I put them laying down horizontally and stacked them from top to bottom, left to right. So that was the way I justified that. But it was literally only because my shelf would not allow me to do anything different.
Yeah.
It drove me crazy putting that shelf together, because those notches, I was like, there's no way for me to do it. Even in my cabinets, I move the shelves up and down to make room for the dishes to be put in there the way that I want them. Because I had plates on the little, the little racks that you get from IKEA so you can stand your plates up.
Yeah.
I had those in there, but at first my shelf wouldn't let me stand my plates up like that. So I had to move my shelves in the cabinets around so that I was able to do that. I get look, once I start buying books,
it's all downhill for you.
My sanity is at risk. Okay. My sanity is at risk. It's more than shelf control. It's making sure my sanity stays intact.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll let you Rainbow Order I would only do for kids books, really, because that makes sense to me for the kids.
Yeah, that's the only time I'll let it
the color of their books.
Yeah, and it helps too. From my kids' ages, they're learning their rainbow, they're learning the order, the Roy G. Biv. So I'll let it slide. As they get older, though, I'm gonna need them to have some sort of organization. I'll let them do what they want, but not rainbow. At least keep series together.
I had started getting, have you seen Barnes & Noble has had the like storybook editions of a bunch of like beloved classics, things like Black Beauty, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, stuff like that, that like they're really pretty and they have like the gold edges.
I have a couple.
I started getting those for me and the kids, and I want to finish getting that series. They're, you know, it's money, so I haven't been able to do much yet. But I want to start getting those, and those I want to display in rainbow order because I think it would be really pretty.
Those,
because they have like really pastel, pretty colors on them.
I started collecting them a while ago, so I have the complete Jane Austen, Edgar Allan Poe, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
And I think all of those, don't they have like the series is all in one book?
Yes. So they're big boys. Yeah.
They're big boys, but it's one book.
Yes.
So you can move them around in rainbow order and not break up the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And put them in alphabetical order without breaking up the series.
See, here's the thing. You judged me for how I had originally put my series, but you want to alphabetize them so they're not even in chronological order.
No, I'm saying these books I would do that because they're all, the whole series is all together in a single book.
Mm-hmm.
So you can move that around and keep them together in the right order.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. As long as they printed them in the right order.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Can you imagine if they took, I mean, they couldn't because they're too big, but can you imagine if like the Throne of Glass series was in a single print? I mean, I know it would be huge, but then like
thousands of pages.
Where they put Assassin's Blade would drive me insane.
Imagine they had 2 editions. Imagine they did 2 editions. So it's like,
just print it out twice.
You want a third. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That would be so funny. Yeah. Let's talk about that one time you sent Mel and I a picture of your bookshelf.
Okay. Not only did these two shame me for how I had my bookshelf, Mel is a Twitch streamer who we love very much. We love you so much. You're Melanie 12 on Twitch. Follow her. This woman shows her stream my bookshelf and has everyone shame me for it. I was like,
okay, but I was first.
I know.
I was first, and I did. I was. But tell us what you sent. Tell us the picture you sent.
It was of the top shelf of L. Kennedy Anna Huang, and I was like, does this make sense? Because I had to rotate. Because sometimes when they're stacked like this, that top book needs a little bit of a weight on it because sometimes it starts lifting just from like, because I have a dehumidifier, but just from like moisture, it will start lifting. So I was rotating. Originally, I had the L. Kennedy stuff stacked this way, but I switched it and I sent it and I was like, does this look okay? Or should I just find like something to keep it flat? These bitches did not respond to the initial question. They go, why are they in descending order of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1? And I was like, because when it was stacked, all I did is I flipped it. And in my head, it made sense. I was like, well, because I wasn't settled on it either. If this is the way I want it.
It doesn't make sense because you read left to right. So they should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But
not
in my
5, 4,
head,
3, 2, 1.
It was just because the stack, when I rotated the stack, that was the order it was in. Because if I rotated it the other way, then all the titles were upside down. And then she's like, okay, I get that logic. But then she looked down the shelf and she's like, what's your excuse for the books you didn't move that are also in descending order? And I was like, I'll be right back. And then I had to reorganize.
I literally could not look at anything else on your shelf because that's all I could see. It was like this glaring, it was like those filters where, you know, you focus in on one thing and the rest is blurred out. That's how I was looking at it. Like I could not see anything other than these numbers are backwards. Why? Explain yourself and fix it because what is wrong with you, you monster?
Hey, but I did explain myself. I said the stack I flipped. So because
it's not a good enough reason.
Okay, but is it okay that as my stack, the last book is on the bottom with the first book on top?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, I hate the way that they're. I hate that they're horizontal, but I get it, and I don't know how you would fit because you have so many of them.
I have so many. I have to stack.
You would have to turn it. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
But yeah, I was shamed so hard that day, and I have not done it since. I make sure, especially knowing I send you guys pictures every single time I redo my shelves, it is in ascending, not descending order.
She's learned.
The shame. Like, I'm almost positive you did send me the Game of Thrones. Shame.
Yes, I did because, and I didn't, my first response when you sent that picture was, what is wrong with you?
I know. I was like, what do you mean? Like, do you not like it? And that's when it was like, no! Why are they like that?
Why are they in descending order?
I don't know why you're yelling.
You can't use that.
I know, but I'm like, the few times when I have to steal that phrase, why are you yelling at me? I'm just trying to organize.
And it's about your bookshelf.
I was like, could you just answer the initial question? Like, does it look okay with the stack there? No, fix the books first.
Because it didn't look okay like that.
Yes,
it didn't look okay.
I haven't done it since. That was like last year, okay? It's been a year.
You've learned. You even forgot it. I feel like you blocked it out of your memory because I had to remind you about it.
I know. When we were doing our notes about our episode before we recorded, I was like, why are we fighting? Do you hate my bookshelves? Which apparently you do because I stacked them like that. But I
just hate that part.
Forgot.
The rest of it looks great.
Okay, but they're stacked on every shelf. I have one stack on every shelf. Well, no. I have at least one on every single shelf where there's a stack.
It just breaks my brain to have them in different directions. That's all.
Does it help that it's only series that I will stack? I don't, like, on the bottom one, the bottom one, where there's the romances that make you cry, there is no stack on that row because there's no series on that shelf. I will only stack a series. Like, this is a completed series.
Yeah.
The Boys of Toman, the original editions are what's stacked because they're so beefy. Soul's Trilogy is stacked. This one, The Throne of Glass, is stacked. So it's only series that I will stack.
I don't know. I might have to wait to decide how I feel about that until I have a bookshelf. Because I feel like it would make more sense for me to stack books that did not belong in a series. Because when I want to see the series, I want to see them set up the right way, like in order. The first book, the second book, the third book. But then I also don't know how I would do things like, the Assassin's Blade stuff with Throne of Glass. I don't know how I would do the prequel novellas with Black Witch Chronicles.
I do have Assassin's Blade on the top of that stack.
Good. I think that's the way I would want to do it.
It starts with an A, so it's almost alphabetical.
That's true. Oh my God. If there's a series out there that anybody knows about, will you put it in the comments? I really want to know if there's a series out there similar to the Bourne Identity series that has all
that
of
isn't that murder mystery. Not the murder mystery series though. That's like A is 4, B is 4.
Oh yeah, no, not
we don't need that one.
No, but I want to know if there's a series. I want to know if there's another series out there of books that are similar to the Bourne series that have them in chronological, and it's also in alphabetical order, because I'd probably buy them just because of that.
So if anyone goes to our Twitch streams and you see me like in a weird pose where my arms are out blocking my bookshelf, it's because I don't want Rubik's to perceive me and judge my little stacks anymore.
Listen,
I'll do it just like this.
Right.
See where would they go? I don't have space, and I can't get another IKEA shelf. It won't fit in this room.
What if you got like another? I wonder if you could get, since it's IKEA, can you get another shelf insert to go in the shelf? That's
so everyone knows I'm glaring at her.
I would do that.
What book is going to fit in that very tiny space?
Well, I'm saying
this is the only shelf.
No, you have gaps like that on all the shelves.
This is it's like a couple inches. So this is the one that's set. You can't move this shelf. This is the one that's a part of it.
That makes sense.
But the L. Kennedy one, I made it so that way it's like...
See, that's the way my brain works, though. So if
no gap.
Oh, no,
so
there's no gap.
There's no gap. There's no gap. There is a gap there. There's a gap here. But the bottom two, there's no gap. And this shelf doesn't move.
Yeah, see, that's why my brain gets frustrated, because I would be like, man, I have inches here and inches there. And if I just moved one shelf, then I would have room for a whole nother shelf.
Nope.
This is why I can't have bookshelves.
Also, I can't put too much weight on this thing. I don't need it to collapse.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just need to get another bookshelf. But I'm not. I like the stacks. To me, I like the breakup of it, because I also worked at a bookstore when I was in college. They stack in bookstores.
Yeah, they do. I guess I can see the how it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
It just bothers me.
But it's my bookshelf.
Yes, and I'm too far away. I can't get over there.
You can fly to me and try and change it.
Oh, how funny would it be if I come visit you and then don't say anything? You leave me alone for like 20 minutes and then I leave town and you're like, did you
all my books are changed? I would immediately notice.
You probably wouldn't. I wouldn't get out of the house before you noticed, I don't think.
No, because you don't even know all the books I own. You'd have to deep dive and look at all the authors and alphabetize that. Like, I would notice right away.
That would be so funny. I would totally do that as a prank too. Just go change everything around.
Sob. And then I would have to put it back. Thankfully, I take photos of my bookshelves when I'm done, so I would know exactly where everything
No,
needs to
you
go.
don't.
Well, because I send it to you guys, so I do have the photos.
You do.
Yeah.
If you don't send it to us, do you still take a photo?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I like to see it aesthetically how it looks, okay?
Get out. Oh my gosh. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed the vibes. If you want to keep up to date, make sure you're following us on Instagram and TikTok.
And if you want to watch us fight live because she hates my bookshelves, make sure you're following us on Twitch and you can join in on the action in chat and tell me if my bookshelves bother you. We'll post the videos on YouTube as well if you're not on Twitch, so you can watch there as well.
Till next time, your books are wrong. You are awesome. You're doing great.
No, they're not. We love you. Now stop stalling and go read that book.
Bye.